horror cinema in South Africa?
It's not as big as we'd like it to be, to put it that way. You know, there's so many movie genres, and people, when they want to be entertained, it depends what they're in the mood for at that time. But the reason we started the HorroFest over Halloween season was obviously because it's got the horror connotation. So we just thought it's a very good time to just compact all of these and give people a nice variety of horror films to enjoy.
What is the theme for this year's festival?
We don't always do a theme. Last year we did Frankenstein. The year before that we did a vampire theme. It's difficult to do a theme if there aren't enough movies that really fit that theme. So this year it's just a nice wide variety of movies and just general horror-related things. It's we have everything from vampire films to serial killers to 8 hours worth of very, very crazy short films from all over the world. We've got the Rocky Horror Picture Show we're closing the festival with a whole full audience participation where everyone can become a part of it. We've had a film called Frankenstein's Army, which we screened last night, which is attached to a Halloween dress-up competition. So there's even screening old classics like the 1931 Dracula film with Bela Lugosi. We have a live soundtrack performance to the old 1923 silent film, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, that adds a whole new dimension to the film with live musicians performing the soundtrack beneath the big screen. So yeah, this one doesn't have a specific theme. There's just too many different genres and storylines and interesting themes to really find one specific one. There's some zombie films, some really cheesy. Many people like the horror films to be fun and cheesy, like we've got President Wolfman and the Disco Exorcist. So, you know, there's just bits of everything for everyone.
Now, tell us a bit more about the plan to extend the HorroFest to beyond Cape Town. I mean, I think last year you took it to Joburg.
Yeah, we had quite a few film screenings in Joburg last year. This year, we're only screening 2. Last night, we had the Frankenstein's Army screening, and this weekend will be the 1931 Dracula, which I mentioned earlier. But the difference with this is just like we're doing a soundtrack to The Hunchback here in Cape Town, up in Johannesburg at the Bioscope, they'll be doing a live improvised soundtrack to this 1931 Dracula film with Paul Hanmer and Carlo Mombelli improvising to the screen. So that should be very interesting.
Yeah, and how have you managed to keep both cinema culture and horror culture alive over the past 9 years?
With a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. It's difficult. You know, people like I mentioned, people if they're in the mood for a certain movie at a certain time, you can't convince them that they really have to go watch this movie right now. So that's why we do it over Halloween, when it's sort of the spirit of being scared and scary, and just, you know, have fun with horror and scary films, as opposed to it being too serious. Because I mean, we have enough horror in our regular lives that it's better to rather just watch it on screen and know that it's not real, and you can have a laugh when you get a fright and
how do you
choose that way.
Sorry about that. How do you choose the movies to be featured at the HorroFest?
Well, every year we have specific ones, like the old classics. We try our best to incorporate them, or the specific new movies that we know have been released overseas that we want to screen, because none of these movies you'll see in any other cinemas or even in the video stores. It's independent movies that we get from all over the world, but most of them people submit to us. When we started 9 years ago, we had to really struggle to try and find movies, but now we've become known around the world that people now send us more movies than we can actually screen. So it's grown over the years.
All right, Paul Blom, thank you so much for talking to us. Good luck for this year. Paul Blom speaking to us about the South African